collapsed in a matter of seconds. A major airbase in Odessa was taken offline by a high-speed aerial operation captured on shocking video. At the same time, Pavlograd experienced one of the longest and most intense aerial attacks in recent months, lasting up to 8 hours. But this wasn't chaos. It was a deliberate, calculated move using drones and cruise missiles to hit specific targets with surprising accuracy. Today, we examine what happened, how it was accomplished, and what this new strategy could mean for the future. One of the most startling developments of July 2025 came when footage surfaced showing a key Ukrainian airbase in Odessa being disabled in a matter of seconds. The video, recorded by a surveillance drone or satellite, revealed the moment precision-guided cruise missiles, identified as KH-101s, struck their targets with pinpoint accuracy. Among the sites affected were Odessa's International Airport, a nearby airfield, and a logistics checkpoint that served as a critical junction for personnel and equipment movement. The KH-101 is a long-range cruise missile capable of traveling over 2,000 kilometers while maintaining a low radar signature. This makes it extremely difficult for traditional air defense systems to intercept. The missiles used in the Odessa operation were likely launched from two 95 aircraft flying well outside Ukrainian airspace. Each missile carries a high explosive payload and uses satellite and terrain-following guidance systems, allowing it to strike specific buildings with minimal deviation. Odessa holds both symbolic and practical value. As Ukraine's largest port city on the Black Sea, it serves not only as a trade and export hub, but also as a logistical base for transporting fuel, medical supplies, and equipment inland. Disabling the airbase and airport facilities directly impacts the flow of resources, delays deployments, and limits aerial reconnaissance capabilities in southern Ukraine. The inclusion of border facilities in the target list further suggests a coordinated plan to restrict cross-border movement and surveillance operations. Multiple credible sources, including The Guardian and Reuters, confirmed the deliberate nature of these strikes, which occurred simultaneously across multiple infrastructure points. What makes this event especially significant is not the damage alone, but the clarity of intent. Unlike previous instances where strikes appeared reactive or unpredictable, this operation reflected a highly organized approach. The choice of targets, logistics, transit hubs, and control points indicates the goal was not random disruption but long-term strategic influence. Odessa's airbase wasn't simply hit. It was systematically removed from the equation, signaling a shift in how such actions are being executed. This moment reframes what's possible in future operations. It highlights how technology, coordination, and timing can converge to produce an outsized impact, all in under 60 seconds. While Odessa's operation was marked by speed and precision, the situation in Pavlograd unfolded in a completely different and equally concerning way. According to verified reports from multiple outlets, including The Guardian and Ukrainian official briefings, Pavlograd was subjected to a sustained multi-hour drone and missile offensive that lasted well into the early morning. What set this event apart was its duration. Unlike the quick-hit approach seen in Odessa, Pavlograd faced a prolonged wave of incoming aerial systems for over 8 hours. This extended pressure disrupted local services, shut down supply routes, and caused visible structural damage across several industrial zones. Key sites impacted included fuel depots, electrical substations, metalwork plants, and at least one major railway junction. Pavlograd is not just a mid-sized city. It's a regional supply hub that helps link western and eastern Ukraine. The decision to focus on this location reveals a calculated interest in affecting Ukraine's interior logistical capacity, particularly routes used to transport heavy machinery and energy resources. Interrupting these pathways for even a short time can ripple through broader infrastructure, creating scheduling issues, stock shortages, and delays in critical operations. The systems used in this extended event included Geran, 2 drones, which are low-cost unmanned aerial vehicles capable of loitering over an area before locking onto a target. These were supported by waves of cruise missiles launched in phases, ensuring that response units were constantly adjusting rather than regrouping. It was a method designed to apply continuous stress, reduce coordination efficiency, and overwhelm local defenses through sheer timing. Civilian infrastructure was not immune. Several apartment buildings and public service stations were affected, prompting emergency evacuations and power shutdowns. Though unconfirmed, early analysis suggests that some dual-use facilities, locations that support both civilian and logistical functions, may have been primary targets, further complicating the response. This drawn-out scenario contrasts sharply with the quick incapacitation seen in Odessa, but reveals something equally powerful: that sustained precision can create psychological and operational fatigue. It demonstrates how the same technologies, drones and guided missiles, can be deployed in different tempos to serve distinct tactical objectives. In this case, the objective appeared to be disruption through exhaustion. And for a city like Pavlograd, one night of unbroken strikes may take weeks to recover from. When comparing the precision-based approach in Odessa with the time-intensive method seen in Pavlograd, a broader pattern begins to emerge, one that suggests a clear evolution in how these operations are being conducted. This shift is defined by better planning, more diverse tools, and a stronger emphasis on outcome rather than spectacle. Both operations relied heavily on two primary assets: the Kh-101 cruise missile and the Geran-2 drone. These systems, while different in design and cost, serve complementary roles. The Kh-101 is used for high-value, fixed-location targets that require precision and timing. The Geran-2, on the other hand, is designed for flexibility, able to loiter in the air, track moving objects, and strike when defenses are low. What makes this pairing especially effective is how they stretch response capabilities. While a city's radar might detect and intercept one type of incoming threat, dealing with simultaneous or successive waves of both drones and missiles pushes resources to their limits. This multi-vector approach complicates the decision-making process for ground operators and leads to difficult choices about prioritization. The July operations also appear to have used real-time surveillance. ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, platforms, likely space-based or high-altitude drones, could have provided live updates, allowing for mid-strike adjustments. For example, a successful hit on a radar station could be immediately followed by a missile targeting the now-exposed communications array. This level of coordination represents a new layer of responsiveness. Unlike earlier stages of the conflict, where some strikes were viewed as reactive or imprecise, these recent events suggest a shift toward a doctrine focused on efficiency and strategic influence. Targets are no longer chosen for shock value, but for impact over time, disabling rather than destroying, delaying rather than demolishing. The other change is in predictability. These actions were not sudden or unexplained. Analysts had seen increased surveillance around Odessa and Pavlograd days before the actual strikes occurred. This suggests a deliberate timeline, giving time for intelligence gathering and operational refinement. The takeaway is that these are no longer isolated incidents. They are coordinated demonstrations of capability. This tactical evolution reflects not only better tools, but a more sophisticated strategy. For analysts and observers alike, it's a signal that future operations may be shaped more by precision, pacing, and planning than by scale or speed alone.